Dave with BTM Reviews. And tonight I want to just go through some couple of videos and see what's being said here and tell me what y'all think after you hear what I say.
Now, Mark Brooks said, vapid writing.
No, he said vapid writing. There's no such word as vapid, but we'll continue.
Hasn't seen the book, by the way. Uninspired art.
He just said that Mark Brooks, who is the author of this post, hasn't read the book, by the way. It seems to be his go-to when somebody criticizes him. Just saying. I've heard it more than 5 times.
Art. Interesting. And has been creators. Wow. That haven't improved their craft in over a decade. First of all, and I won't.
Okay. So again, I want you guys to notice this is August 30th, 2022 when he said this. Okay. Mark Brooks in 2022 had been a comic book artist since 2004. So that's 18 years of experience. At this point, Eric's got a year of experience. So the guy's giving his opinion, and Eric doesn't like it, which he hasn't since then, obviously. But just listen to this.
I'll speak on behalf of Gabe, because Gabe, he does his thing. I don't need to speak on behalf of either of these guys, but Gabe is my colorist. Gabe has no problem certainly defending himself and his deal, definitely with him being active on social media. Now, Cliff, I take issue with that because Cliff is the main artist as far as the pencil and ink work, and he doesn't say anything bad about it. He doesn't engage in a lot of this stuff.
Okay, did Mark call these guys out by name? No. He just mentioned the artwork. Who's calling him out by name? Eric is. But they're both full-grown men, and if they want to respond to Mark Brooks, then let them respond. Why do you need to do it for them? Why? It doesn't make any sense. These are just two men that work for you. Do you go home and argue for them to their wives? It's ridiculous.
That we sort of do. He's just a phenomenal artist that wants to do good work. So for him to sit up here and basically take that.
He's a phenomenal artist that took your money and gave you a bunch of 3D assets and put some lines over it to make it look like it was drawn, but it wasn't. But you didn't know that. So what the fuck ever.
Shot at the artist, which again, that includes Cliff and Gabe. You are a pussy, and make no mistake.
Mark is a pussy for having a comment talking about two grown men who's in the same industry as those men. He's a pussy. That is some damn good leadership.
Mistake, and we'll have some terms. I'll talk to you about it if I ever get the chance. Let's just say that. Mark Brooks says, what else do they have to sell their books other than a made-up culture war that doesn't actually exist? Now, this is the funny part, because they are trying to, this is what the previous poster did, where they act or are trying to operate under this falsehood that, well, had it not been for us, this culture war, then we couldn't sell. Now that's
okay. So let's go over this. You have 509,000 subscribers. At this point, Nerdrotic had somewhere between 750,000, 800,000. Geeks and Gamers had 200,000. Az had 200 plus thousand. And Yellow Flash has his group, and you are in with all these guys. Okay, so that's a big customer base that you're playing with people's emotions with. So yeah, I think they might have a fucking point.
It's a little stupid because they don't apply that to really any other market or any other business. And
because any other market, any other business has to sell their stuff in a store, or they have to sell it online and try and make it to where everybody wants it. You didn't have to do that. You just had to sell. I want to do better. And that's where we go. Yeah, the Rippaverse is going to, put comics back on the right pace. So you got 2 million people, and however many people purchased it for $2.7 million. But then the second book, it went down. The third book, it went down even more. So maybe it's a good idea you didn't put it in stores.
And it's funny because I remember very vividly, certainly going into the 90s, where you had some companies like the Images of the world who were literally started, and a lot of it was done. If you look at some of their promotional items, even when Todd McFarlane came out, you remember, I don't know if you remember that Todd McFarlane toys ad that would run where he was specifically taking shots at the big guys, right? So
because that's what you do. You got to try to compare yourself to the big guys, but they also put their stuff out in stores for the general public to make the choice on. And people did. And McFarlane Toys rules. I got a ton of them. All right. They're awesome. Image Comics in stores. Dark Horse Comics in stores because people wanted to put them in their stores. How many stores is Rippaverse in?
So that was okay, and that's fine. I don't know anybody saying, "Well, no, you only trying to sell that." They put that in the actual commercials. Now, I've done nothing of that nature. We always lead in our actual like ads. Let's say the trailers and stuff. We're only talking about what our code of ethics is, what the actual content of the story with ISOM issue number 1. They were actually putting stuff and taking shots. Had stand-ins in their commercials. It was okay for them to do that.
What does that mean? It was okay for them to do that, for them to advertise? Nobody's bitching about your advertising. He's bitching about your artwork and your storytelling. That's what Mark Brooks is talking about, not your advertising. So, okay. I guess
we don't have to do anything. What we do, and this is why people like us, by the way, and why I could bet you. Matter of fact, I'd bet you. Let's put 10 grand on it that you couldn't, Mark Brooks, sell as much as we did without having Marvel or DC or some massive company attached to you doing it. We've seen so many comic pros try to do that, and
just like you couldn't do it without your 509,000 subscribers and all your friends' extra 2 million subscribers, buddy. You know that. Everybody knows that. So don't try and act like you're better than them. You're not a better artist. You're not a better writer. Okay? You just have a bigger fan base because you were a rapper or some shit before. And then you've got this, rage YouTube channel for years, debating dummies, trying to make yourself look smarter. So now you make a book, you make a bunch of money, and you're better than every fucking buddy else. Oh my God, it's so annoying. So fucking demoralizing for him because there are so many people that are better at it.
Utterly fail. But
what is a definition of utterly fail? Not making $2.7 million or hitting the goal that you wanted to as an artist and still making the book that you wanted to make and still making the money that you wanted to make. Does that make them a failure? Or does that just make them a smaller channel or a smaller fan base that's supporting them? Honest question. Just because you made more money than them doesn't mean you made anything better than them. It's not even close.
The reason why this is being mentioned, you're referencing the culture war, whatever you want to call it. I really don't care.
Because that's all you've talked about for the last 5 years, buddy. The culture war, don't let these people in your doors. Don't let these people in your business. They'll ruin your business. Blah, 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 blah. Woke this, woke that. They're ruining movies. So, he's only throwing your shit back on you.
It's because it's a thing. It's identifiable. I've been talking about what my issues are. And it's not just with wokeness, with what's going on in modern comics and why I wanted to be a part of certainly the solution. Identifiable. mountains. I got playlists dedicated where I've talked about everything when I did my old reviews, all of that sort of stuff. But all I'm doing is because I'm be it in commentary space, I have the luxury of being, I guess, personable, let's say that, or whatever you want to call it.
Personable. Eric July is personable, everybody. He's so likable and lovable. Oh my God. He's never condescending. He's never self-righteous. He's personable. Holy shit. My God, the ego.
And I'm not going to stop talking about things just because I started my own company. So,
remember that line. I'm not going to stop talking about things because I started my own company.
I can do two things at one time. I could sell a book. It can look awesome. People are entertained. People are intrigued by these concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely when they get the book, we know they're going to be even more intrigued.
Oh, sure.
But they can get this.
They're going to nitpick
and be stoked about it, while I can also compare and contrast. I can also talk about what's going on with
your competition. You can degrade your competition more and more to your 509,000 subscribers to prop your own book up. Kind of a nice position to be in, right? I made $2.7 million, so I'm probably the smartest guy in comics, so I can get on here and be, the owner of $1 million company and talk shit about everybody else. Nice. Pretty good gig.
Comic book industry, Mr. Mark Brooks. So what happened?
But you don't know anything about the comic book industry. You don't know anything. You know about Eric July making a comic book and mailing it to people. That's not the industry. That's the Eric July book business.
Is they conflate. So I say, hey, these guys are doing stupid things. And it actually aids. It helps. Because what happens is all these customers that you depended on for so long, that probably stuck around like myself longer than what they should have, right?
Yeah. I guess the Rippaverse customers found out really fast because you went from 2.7 to 1.9 or whatever in 2 books. So they left pretty quick. And then the third book, Alpha Core, went to 1.3. So, yeah.
They're not going to stop being interested in comic books, right? They're going to focus their attention on something else. Maybe it's manga. Maybe it's the Rippaverse.
It's manga. People at the comic book store ain't looking for Rippaverse, dude. They're looking for manga. And you know it.
People that have been disenfranchised as comic pros like this sit up here and talk down. Definitely as they talk down on customers, which these guys have no problem doing that. They'll call my customers all sorts of names. Cool.
And you call everybody that disagrees with you names.
Act right is why people, and maybe that's what these guys need explained to them, because they don't actually listen. They need that part.
Oh, that is the pot calling the kettle black. They don't actually listen. All right. Again, this is August 30th, 2022. And Eric July is accusing other people of not listening.
Or to explain to them, I guess you got to break it down for them so they can understand why was this project working in the way that it did. There's been other creatives that have done their own thing. They didn't make 3.4, almost 3.5 million. Right? There's a lesson to be learned. And if you were one,
the lesson is ridiculous. And you don't have a lesson to be learned, dude. You haven't repeated the first success. You haven't done it. Okay? You're too blind to see people bought with passion. You're sitting there on Friday Night Tights. Gary's talking about this, and I was one of them. I spent my $325 or whatever on the whole box set for Isom 1. I was a guy. I got sucked right in. And that's what I did. I got sucked right in. But people have stopped getting sucked in. And when the reality hits that your Rippaverse is going to be about $1 million a book business, you're going to have to rethink everything, buddy. That's just a business thing.
one of those that actually cared about this industry, wanted more people to be in on comic books, well, you would be picking up from that. And I'm not saying you gotta like me. I'm not telling you to replicate it, but there certainly is something positive to take from this. Now, if you are politically or socially, let's say, that's what you lead with, then maybe because I'm at odds with you, you think that there is, or not even I'm at odds, it's more of I'm just not what you are. And you think that that may be a threat there. And of course, that just shows, or rather proves us right. Because just from a comic book perspective, from a comic book cultural perspective, there is some things that people can grab from this, make note of, implement in their own little work.
What are they taking from you that they didn't crowdfund, that they threw all their money up front, and they went to their 2,000 subscribers on YouTube and said, "Hey, I just spent $200,000 to make this book. Can I get 2,000 of you to spend $20, $40?" That's not a reality. You have a numbers game. You have a 509,000 subscriber base. Again, with all your other buddies, that base is gigantic. And if you think about how big that number is, truly, how many books did you really sell compared to that number? Not a whole lot. If you think about the millions of customers that were potentially there. So, I'm hearing 17,000 books. DC fires writers that don't sell 17,000 books. Marvel does the same thing. Yeah, they bring in bad people. They do some bad shit, but they also get rid of people that don't perform. So, and they're not on YouTube promoting every damn night their books and gloating about how good they are with their business when it's just a numbers game, man. You didn't sell to a bunch of liberals. Okay. Your politics definitely transcended this. There were not a bunch of lefties going on your website, buying your book in good faith. Only reason they would have bought it is to ridicule it. So you definitely sold to a Christian right-wing base that wants to support things that we don't feel like we have any say in. Okay. But if we get that product and we find it not to be up to par, you have a problem with us commenting on that. And this Mark Brooks, it's probably not in good faith, but there are some real things in there he has to say. And you're not listening, as always. But that was a year and a half ago, so you've grown. I know. So here we go.
World, even if they're doing their own comics or whatever it is, because we have gotten verifiably a lot of people enthusiastic about comic books, man. And that's what it's.
They're enthusiastic about supporting an alternative economy. It's not comics. Jesus Christ. What a load of shit
it's about.
All right, that's enough of this stupid video. It's retarded. So now I want to go to one that everybody's been seeing here lately. And I just want to kind of see how much he's grown, because this is 7 months ago. And let's see. On the Yellow Flash show, and this is when Dick Masterson is towards the end, and he says some things to Eric. And I just want you to hear Eric's growth in the 7 months. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pro marketing. I think the marketing is great. I think the marketing you did, Eric, was a huge success. And I thought it was great that you could, as I explained to Vito, I thought it was great that you told a story where people could spend money and feel good about what they were spending the money on. And that was what I thought the book was. That's what it represented to people who bought it. I think they bought it as a trophy to.
There you go. If you don't agree with that, you're lying to yourself. You bought it just like I did as a FU to the mainstream. So it was a trophy.
And that was a good thing to me. But as soon as it turned into the book is a financial marketing success to equals it's a creative success. I said, well, that's not true. The creative part is not there, and this is what could be changed. And I believe strongly that those two are separate things. And after that, it turned into a very petty and very childish flame war between us. And that's
there's
where
no
it is.
flame war. No. That's
There
not
we
what
go.
happened. There's no flame war between you. Like you came in with the energy that you came in with. This is something that you take issue with what it is that I do. This is not the other way around. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know.
So Dick criticizes the book, gives Eric the note, gives Eric the notes. And Eric doesn't like it. He says it's bullcrap, obviously. And here's what I want to ask. If Eric sat down with the director of a Marvel movie that he criticized, and he said what Dick said to the Marvel guy, and the Marvel guy comes back like Eric is coming back, what do you think Eric would call him? What do you think Eric would call this person that's responding to Dick?
No, other than the fact that you haven't accomplished anything in the space it is that I'm actually in, I don't know anything about you like that. And quite frankly, I don't care. It's not important by any means. Like I said, it's not like you have some sort of sense of accomplishment that would make your opinion of me or even my product that valuable like that. You've already, like to Ethan's point, you went off the rip calling me a scammer, right? You basically advocated piracy of my own product.
Earlier in the video, Dick did say, yes, I called you a scammer, and that was wrong. He did say that.
So you essentially are knocking me, and that's cool. Like I said, that's cool with me that you're knocking me. However, I'm just not going to be listening to you of all people, and that's it. This isn't a feud. This isn't a me against you. I don't.
Why Dick of all people? Of all the people, why Dick of all people? Because he called him a scammer, or just because maybe he brought some logical points? I don't know, but he never really says why you of all people, I don't think.
No, it's just you went after me. I don't know you like that. I'm not reviewing your stuff. I don't care to review your stuff. I don't know you like that. So it's not a feud by any means. You just took issue with it, and I'm cool with that. You don't like the story. You think the book sucks. Fine with me. We went through your criticism. Consider it a criticism of your criticism. I felt it largely lousy, pathetic. It didn't make a whole lot of sense in the context of actually reading the book. And it certainly didn't read like someone, as far as the actual write-up, like someone that even bothered to actually read it. But you claim.
Oh, see, there he goes again. He's accusing somebody of not reading the book. That's all he's got. Eric's coming off just like everybody in Hollywood that criticizes their movies. I'm not going to listen to you because you're not worthy of me. It's exactly what he sounds like. All the SJWs that he can't stand is what he is becoming. And this was 7 months ago.
Claim you did. Cool. Either way, you are free to dislike it, and I'm free to reject your position on this. What I'm saying is your position ain't gospel. Right. So if you don't think it's a creative success, fine. If you don't think it had a good enough story, you thought it sucked, you thought it was true.
And why does he got to get loud? Why does he got to get all rambunctious? Just have a conversation. Oh, you're upset about a review from Dick Masterson, the ultimate troll. Funny troll, but the ultimate troll. He admits it.
Trash. We all good over here, homie. Other people don't feel that way. There are other people that like the book. We talk about it all the time on my stream. They have no issues with the motivation. They're excited about some of these.
They're your fans. Bring on critics. Bring on critics to actually have a critical review of your book. Nope.
These characters it is that I've created. Your position or your opinion of me is not gospel. You are not the beacon of truth. You are not the person that is all ever knowing. You possess the knowledge to understand, because you, again, being the beacon of truth, you understand that this sucks or it doesn't. That's not how it works. You're just a dude with an opinion, and that's cool with me.
Yeah, I can tell. You're really cool with it. Super cool, man. I mean, you are just so cool right now. Holy shit, it's getting a chill in the room. So cool.
I look forward to reviewing ISOM too.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Hopefully you
All right. I don't want to hear from Nina. Okay, one last video, and this is the one he released yesterday, called My Apologies. And this is a beauty. So we're going to start it here about 42 seconds in.
Us to now the owner of a multi-million-dollar business. And though I've gotten better, I've not completely shook off those old habits. That's part of learning to move differently. And I have to learn to accept that this is a new chapter. That's why I've been saying that I'm moving differently in 2024. The growth of the Rippaverse changed everything, including my own life. The one thing I admittedly do not like.
So a year and a half ago, he said he could make the universe and still be critical on the internet. But now he's had a conversation with Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers that's made him move in a different direction again. Here we go.
Are people going after my employees and friends? And our explosion made some people feel some kind of way. And unfortunately, this means that people will be caught in the crossfire. I have no problem making myself vulnerable with this. But as an example, the Saska sisters have.
Okay, so I just have to know who he made the video for. Was it to the Saska sisters? Was it to his employees? Was it to his fans? Was it to people he wants to make fans? Because if the Rippaverse is that strong, then they don't care what Eric says. They don't care what people say about the Saska sisters. They're going to buy his. That's the mentality he should have. So why are you making a video to apologize for what people have said you should be doing anyway, and that's focusing on your business and taking so long? Just do it. You don't need to make a video about it. Just disappear and go run your company. And then when a book comes out, make a video or, make some promo videos beforehand. But you're making an apology video talking about some girls that work for you and blah, blah, blah. It's retarded. My whole point was I just wanted to show you that, a year and a half ago, he had the world by the balls, and now he's thinking I'm out of control and I have to rethink things. And that's fine. If you're going to grow, you're going to grow. But, let me look at something real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Damn it.
Again, not everybody will understand this, but it's what's best. The people that.
I blew that one. Here we go.
I am going to do. I need to fully embrace being the owner of a multi-million-dollar business.
Multi-million?
And I need to show that with my online interaction. Some people are not going to like it, or it's going to take some time getting used to, but this is a much needed evolution. The tone for the Rippaverse is set by me. I need to do a much better job of facilitating enthusiastic, engaging conversations and highlighting those that want this fun sandbox.
Well, let's see if you can do it, man. Let's see if you can follow through. I want to see it. I think you can do it. If you work at it. But I'm not convinced you'll do it. I'm just not convinced. Because today he released a video about Wonder Woman solves toxic masculinity, Suicide Squad, and social justice. Well, that's just beating on your competitors. And if you're going to be better, be better. Ignore your competitors. I'm in sales. I ignore my competitors. I just sell my stuff and I keep going. So let's see. He's got a video about Aquaman not making money. Now, one thing I want you to notice here, in that first video from August 21st, he had 72,000 views. Okay, so I'm going to share this. Stop this one. Present this one. And I want you to just look at these numbers. 8,000 views, 23,000 views, 11,000 views. But let's go to some that are, 3 days old. 5,000 views, 14,000 views, 16,000 views, 8,000 views. So is it haters? I mean, dude, that's a huge drop. It's your attitude towards customers that gets you in trouble. So, and I also want you to notice another thing. We'll go back to this one. Here we go. Stop. Present. Okay. In August of 2022, he had 509,000 subscribers. January of 2024, he has 509,000 subscribers. Why hasn't his fan base expanded even greater if he's got such a great big company selling all these books? Is that a thing to ask? I mean, if he's that popular in the world of entertainment, shouldn't he have grown at least 1,000 people? It's an honest question, guys. You got to ask yourself. So anyway, this is my first attempt to try and do a video like this. I'm sorry if it sucked, but I'm trying here, guys. And yeah, just it's kind of sad to see that he's got to make apology videos 3 books into his Rippaverse. He should have never done it. He should have just faded away and just changed his content. But his content's so far down now compared to what it used to be as views go. It's another thing he's got to think about because that's a revenue source for him. So anyway, you guys, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment and have a great night. Thanks.